when you think about the number of Marylanders that are on the food stamp supplement, it's about 12% of our population, I think, at this point. And we're considered one of the wealthiest states in the country, which I just find, extremely unsettling. The other thing I thought about, in addition to food insecurity, people have job insecurity, housing insecurity, the insecurity around the education and welfare of children, the access to health care.
Seniors quite often are living on fixed incomes, and as the price of food has been increasing due to a number of factors, we've been told by the food pantries that many seniors are visiting them for the first time, that the proportion of seniors visiting them has gone up between 2- and 4-fold, depending on what jurisdiction you look at.
It's the people like me who had everything planned. We had our old age planned. We had everything planned. And everything fell through, and there is nothing now. And we don't know how to live like that.
Looking at Judith Bell, you'd never imagine she's one of those who depend on the food bank.
It's humbling, very humbling, to stand there and go through the line and take the groceries like that. But what can you do? One of these? One? There are a lot of people in my situation. The Social Security, you cannot make an apartment payment or a house payment. If you have a car, make a car payment, make your insurance, pay your utility bill, pay your water bill, pay your gas and electric bill, pay for your medicines. That right there is your grocery bill. Do I buy my medicines or do I buy the food? And if I don't buy my medicines, I'm going to get sick and I'm not going to be able to eat the food, so I guess I better buy the medicines and let the food go.
One of the very surprising things that people just don't know is that 2 out of every 5 kids who are hungry in this country are Latino. Know that the data and resources are out there to say that Latino children are struggling with nutrition. People are not really recognizing that there needs to be a comprehensive policy approach to this. And we wanted to paint the full picture of why Latino households are struggling with nutrition, why our children are at risk.
At our school, we conduct a pre-MSA test, like a practice test, to get the kids in the mindset and understand the importance of the test. We gave it to all 900 students, and then we collectively graded the assessments ourselves. And the first assessment that I picked up, I was reading it, and it was a very off-the-wall comment of, "I don't care." So I found the child, and I asked my secretary to bring that child to the room that I was grading in. And when he walked in, I've got to admit, I had some preconceived notions of what I was going to say to him. It caught me off guard that a child within my building would write something like that on something that we focused on as being so important. So when he came in, I had a series of questions I was going to kind of drill him with. And I said to him, "You didn't realize that I was going to be the person grading your assessment?" And he said, "No, Mr. Mack, I didn't." And I said, "Well, you kind of caught me off guard. Why would you even attempt to write something like this?" And he paused for a minute, and he looked around, and he said, "Mr. Mack, I was just so hungry, I just can't think straight." Well, that deflated all my other questions, because it brought me back to the reality of why I'm here at Old Mill North, is to make the learning environment a whole environment for the child. So at that point, my wheels started turning. One of my lead teachers went to her room and gathered a whole bunch of crackers and juice and things, and we sat the boy down and we talked to him about his life experiences and what was going on at home. And his mother had just lost her job, and they didn't have food. And he came to school on a daily basis, not being able to eat until 1:10 when lunch was served.
When I first moved to Maryland and was really struggling financially, I was embarrassed about needing financial assistance, food assistance, because I had always been able to provide for myself before, and then all of a sudden not being able to get a basic item like food was very saddening. It was, and I had a hard time expressing my need for help at first because of that pride of just wanting to provide for myself and not being able to.
I did this little short needs assessment, and I went to everybody's community meeting, and when I would quiz them about, how do you eat, what do you do, the biggest question on their minds was, well, how do I eat? And then the next question was, what do I eat? And where do I get it? Because in this community, the term food desert applies. You can find a fair amount of corner stores that sell fried chicken, fast food, but there is one supermarket to service the whole community, maybe 29 different neighborhoods. That many people are eating. They're fat and starving because they've eaten the processed food, they've eaten the refined sugars, but they never really got good food. So although you're not hungry, in the normal sense, your body is craving other things. So that's why a really long version of why I started a farmers market, just to help people eat better, live longer, live